Welcome to the Java series. In this video, we are going to learn the different data types available in Java and what are the different types we have and what is meant by a data type and what are the different ranges that we can have for a byte chart or for an integral data types and for a floating data types and what are a primitive and a non-primitive data types. Let's see the data type. The name it says that what type of data that is going to carry, that's going to hold. This is nothing but a data type. In Java we have two different data types. It's a primitive data types and a non-primitive data types. Let us look at the primitive data types. The primitive data types are a fixed specific range we will be providing for that. So the range of these data types are fixed. It's a fixed value data types. Under these primitive data types, we have a Boolean and a numerical data types. Numerical data types are which can have a numbers. They are a numerical. Okay, and the Boolean data type. The Boolean, it can take either a true or a false. Okay, the Boolean can have a true or a false, and it cannot contain any other value. We can't put anything else apart from the true or false to a Boolean data type. Okay, that is with the Boolean. And coming to the numerical data types, see, these are all the different the data types, the numerical data types we have. But still under the numerical data types, we have a three categorization. One is a char. It's a character. Character is nothing but it's gonna carry a specific character or a letter, we can say. We'll come to the character and sometime we'll see with the practical example and what the memory size it takes and why it takes the 2 bytes memory in Java, whereas in C or some other languages where it takes like only 1 byte. In Java, the character takes 2 bytes. And see, that is with the char. And coming to the integral data types, we have byte, short, int and long. Each has its own range, and the byte is nothing but 8 bits. Byte has an 8 bits. See, here I mentioned 1 byte and we have an 8 bits. Out of these 8 bits, the first bit is a signed bit. So whenever you are giving a range, that's from the negative to a positive. Like let's say the byte is an 8 bits. So the range of the byte is minus 128 to plus 127. And in a minute we are going to see how that range is defined to a byte. Okay, byte is 8 bits. And the short can store, it is 2 bytes data it can store. Let us write that the short, it is 2 bytes. Okay, and whereas integer it stores up to 4 bytes, and long will go to 8 bytes. It can store 8 bytes. Okay, and these are the integral data types, integral primitive data types. And now the third one, it's a floating point data types. So whenever we are representing a number, the numerical, with some fractionals, like let's say 0.0 or 1.001. So whatever the fraction that we are giving, they are nothing but a floating point. In Java, float holds 4 bytes of data. It takes 4 bytes, and whereas the double takes 8 bytes. The difference between a float and a double, how many fractional numbers that we can have, that is the only difference. Both can have the fraction numbers in the float. In the float, we can go up to 7 fractions, like 1.1 2 3 4 5 6 7. And whereas in double, even if you want to go more than the 7 fractions, it will go up to 15. So we'll see that in a moment. Now let's come back to the byte concept. First, let us understand a byte, and so that you would be able to understand short, int, long, float, and double. The byte, see, as we mentioned, it has an 8 bits. 1 byte means 8 bits. So I am representing all these 8 boxes. Assume all these are our 8 bits, and out of the 8 bits, the first bit is a signed bit, either that represents a positive or a negative. Like, let's say you can represent a positive number or a negative number. So we are going to find out the range of the byte now. Let us assume if we have a 2 bytes instead of 8. Let's understand with the 2 bytes. We have a 2 bytes. What you can fill up with ones and zeros. What are the different combinations we can write for this? 0 0, 1 0, 0 1, and 1 1. Okay, these are the different possible data that we can store in these 2 bits. What would be the maximum value we can store here? See, this always go like this: 2 power 0 and 2 power 1. If you put 1 here, 1 into 2 power 1, and the same time 1 into 2 power 0. So this is 2. 1 into 2 is 2, plus 1 into 2 power 0, 1 into 1, which is going to be 3. Okay, if you have a 2 bits, you can store the maximum of 3. So max value that you can store 3 with the 2 bits. Now in this particular 1 byte, out of 8 bits, after you removing a signed bit, you have 7 bits with you. That now you are going to find out the range, what is the max value and the minimum value that we can store in a byte. See, as we have seen, assume you are placing all ones, that is the maximum. Assume all ones you are keeping here. As we have seen, like a 2 power 0, 2 power 1, and 2 square, it will follow like this. It's going to be 2 power 6. Now we need to add all this. 2 power 6 is, what is the 2 power 6? It is 64 plus 32 plus 16 plus 8 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1, which is equal to 127. Okay. In the positive side, we can store up to the max value is a 127. But whereas in the negative sign, if you are working with the negative, it will start from minus 128. What is that? It is minus 128 to 127. The total numbers that we can store from minus 128 to 127 are 2, 56. Okay, so the total number that we can store in a byte is from minus 128 to 127, that is a total 256. See, now you understand about a byte. If you understand a byte, understanding short, int, long, everything would be easy for you. Out of 8 bits, the first bit is a signed bit, and all the remaining 7 bits we are using to store our data. At max, what we can store with all ones is going to give a maximum range. So 2 power 0, 2 power 1, 2 square, 3, 2 power 2 cube, 2 power 4, 2 power 5, and 2 power 6. If you sum up all these, the max value that you can store is a 127. In the negative sign, it is minus 128. Whereas you can write it in this way: how you can say minus 2 power, after taking out the signed bit, how many bits we have? 7, to 2 power 7 minus 1. Okay, this is the range for a byte. Since the byte has 8 bits, after taking the signed bit out, you have only 7. That is the reason minus 2 power 7 to 2 power 7 minus 1. This is the byte range. Okay, now let's go to the short. Short takes 2 bytes of the memory. 2 bytes means you can have 8 plus 8, total 16 bits. See, if you have a 16 bits to store the range, first bit is a signed bit, as you know, and how many bits will be left? 15 bits will be available to store your data. Assume you have all ones, all 15 bits you have ones. What would be your range here for short? Which is going to be minus 2 power, how many bits we have after taking the signed bit out? 15, to plus 2 power 15 minus 1. You are getting minus 2 power 15 to 2 power 15 minus 1. That is the range of a short. Now int, it takes a 4 bytes. What would be the range here? 4 bytes, 32 bits. So instead of 15 here, you are going to write minus 2 power 31 to 2 power 31 minus 1. Okay, this is the range for the int. And what about long? It takes 8 bytes, 8 into 8, 64 bits. So this would be minus 2 power, after taking one signed bit, 63, to 2 power 63 minus 1. That is the range of the long. You can store a value to a long variable which is from minus 2 power 63 to 2 power 63 minus 1. Or if the value going beyond the range, it is a overflow. So it is actually overflowing. You can fit the range, you can fit the number from within these two boundaries to a long data type. Whereas for the int, it is minus 2 power 31 to 2 power 31 minus 1. Okay, since you understand this 1 byte concept clearly, you would be able to sync with the byte to a short, int and a long, because the only difference is how many bits that we have in the short and how many bits we have in int and how many bits we have in long, so that you can define the range. And now let's go to the floating point numbers. Floating point numbers are like, let's say 1.0, like this, the fractional numbers that we can define. In the float, you can go up to 7 fractional numbers like this: 3 zeros, 4 zeros, 5 zeros, 6 zero, and you can go with the 1. See, up to this number of fractions, the decimal numbers, this number of fractions you can go in the float data type. Okay, 1 dot, any number dot, you can go up to 6 or 7 fractions. Whereas in the double, you can go up to 15, which is like, let me 1 dot or any number 1 2 3 dot 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0 1 2 3 4 5. See, it can go up to like this. So 15, up to 15 decimals, up to 15 fractions that you can store on a number. These are the floating point numbers. Since they are fraction, they are holding the fractions of a decimal number, so we are naming this as a floating point data types. They can store like this. It can go up to 7, or and the double, it takes an 8 bytes memory, and it can go up to 15. That is the difference between a float and a double, and what type of data that can carry, and up to what number of fractions that a float and a double can hold. Now let's come back to the character. Carefully observe here, in Java, character takes 2 bytes. It takes 2 bytes. You can ask me a question, it is just a character, it's gonna take a character. Why do we need to give a 2 bytes? Let us understand, in C, the character takes only 1 byte. And why in Java it is taking 2 bytes? Sometimes in interview you might face this question. In C, we have only ASCII numbers, ASCII character. It is American Standard Code for Information Interchange, ASCII. How many we have in the ASCII? How many characters? Total 255. 255 characters we have in ASCII. Okay, total 255. So with 1 byte we can represent, all the ASCII characters. So total 255 characters we can represent with the ASCII. In Java, we have a Unicode characters. Unicode characters are ASCII code characters plus some extra characters. Extra characters in the sense, in Java it supports all the different languages like Latin, some other languages, like all the characters from the different languages the Java supports, whereas C doesn't, since it can store only ASCII characters. They are from 0 to 9, A to Z, capital A to Z, and some special characters like this, and it follows. But whereas in Java, apart from all these ASCII 255 characters, we're gonna store all the different language characters. For that reason, 1 byte is not enough to store ASCII plus the other characters which comes from the different languages that Java represents. The Java can work with them. For that reason, we need to have 2 bytes in Java, whereas 1 byte is sufficient in C. So remember this. You might get this question in an interview. Why do we need to give 2 bytes in Java, whereas we can have 1 byte in C? C takes only 1 byte. Because of Unicode characters. The Unicode characters are more than 255. Why more than 255? Unicode characters are an ASCII characters plus other characters which supports from the different languages. That is why we need to have 2 bytes for the character. And now let's come to the Boolean. To represent a Boolean, either a true or a false, into 1 or 0, how many bytes we require? We really don't need a byte for a Boolean. Just a bit is enough to represent either a true or a false. So this is just a bit. It is a 1 bit. One bit is enough for a Boolean. For character, it takes 2 bytes to store the character data type, and for a byte it goes from -128 to 127, which is 255, and for a short it goes -2 power 15 to 2 power 15 minus 1, and for an int -2 power 31 to 2 power 31 minus 1, and whereas for a long it is minus 2 power 63 to 2 power 63 minus 1, and for a float it goes up to 6 or 7 decimals. It's a fraction, and in the double it takes an 8 bytes, and you can go up to 15 decimals or fractions. Okay, you need not to remember the value of minus 2 power 63 and 2 power 63 minus 1. If you know the range and how it is going to take that range, and based on the number of bits, you should be good, because we cannot remember a lengthy numbers like which goes from around, let's go to Google and see, because even I don't remember the number. See, for a byte it is minus 128 to 127, and for a short it represents 2 bytes. This is 2 power 15, and this is 2 power 15 minus 1, and for int this is the range for int, and this is the range for a long. Nobody will ask you about what is the range for a long and what is the range for an int. If you can remember, that should be good, and whereas for a byte you can easily remember. And for a float it goes up to 6 to 7 decimal digits, and whereas the double goes up to 15 decimal digits. To store a boolean, 1 bit is enough to store a true or a false, but whereas for character it's a 2 bytes. And this is about the primitive data types. Now coming to the non-primitive data types, they are not a fixed range. There is no specific value, and there is no specific range that Java is giving to the non-primitive data types. The primitive data types are the fixed value data types. Their range is fixed, and what they can max, that the values that they can contain is fixed. Whereas in the non-primitive data types, that is not the case. It's a string. You can have n number of characters in a string, and lengthy string, or you can define with 1 character or 2 characters. And a class is also a non-primitive data type, and an array, it can hold an n number of the similar values, like let's say integer array, string array, and there are so many similar type of variables it can hold. And all these are the non-primitive data types. In the next video we are going to see, let's write a program, let's put everything, a boolean, a character, byte, short, int, long, float, double, everything in a program, and let's execute and see whether these data types takes the range, or what happens if you give a beyond the range, outside of the range that defined for the specific data type, and how it behaves, and let us understand them practically. Hope you understand the concept of the data types in Java, and the memory size and the range, and how we are defining the range for each data type. Please feel free to comment if you have any questions in the comment section. Thanks for watching the video.